Welcome back to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. I'd like to introduce you to Mark Scuerman and Mark Moran. They are the editors, the publishers, the founders, any other titles?
The everything.
The everything of Weird New Jersey. And if you're not familiar with Weird New Jersey, well, if you're not, you can explain. What's Weird New Jersey?
It's a magazine that comes out twice a year. I think we've been doing it for 22 years or so now. It started out as just a real little fanzine, just to please, well, if you know what a fanzine is, it's like you just do it because you like to do it. So we started it out as places we like to visit in New Jersey.
It's not just a magazine.
Unusual place.
Yeah, not just, where Washington slept or whatever. It's like,
anybody can do that.
Go to the dumps, or you go to a Gravity Road or Albino Village or something. So we tried to make a guide for New Jerseyans that don't really know that these things exist within their own neighborhoods.
I've seen the books too. I go to bookstores a lot and I see Weird New Jersey. Is it just New Jersey? Do you do other states or?
For years we were doing just the magazine Weird New Jersey, and then Barnes & Noble asked us to put a book together for them. So they published our first book, which was Weird New Jersey. And it was so successful that they asked us to spearhead the development of books for every state. And that's what we did. We found like-minded authors around the country, and we worked very closely with them, and we put out maybe 30 states books aside from New Jersey.
Now, I don't know why. I hope nobody takes offense to this, but New Jersey seems to be, this could be Weird Central. I mean, it really seems to be the state made for this.
It's the epicenter of where everything else emanates from.
Yeah, people always ask, well, you put these books on the other states, what's the weirdest one? And I said, well, on these other states we have one book. Here in New Jersey we have 2 books and 44 issues of the magazine, so that's a lot more material there here in New Jersey. Definitely.
And you never run out of weird in New Jersey?
No, when one thing stops, another thing just pops up down the road.
I mean, we've got such a diverse culture here and a history that goes all the way back to the beginning of the country. There's so much to draw from it, so it's like a bottomless well.
Well, let's start talking about it. Some of the weird stuff that you've encountered. Was there ever anything, by the way, that you went, this is a little too weird? Like, we're not writing about this. It got.
Well, some of the stuff are not necessarily like you're running into a ghost so much as some of the people we run into. I mean, there's nothing stranger than human beings and
in the middle of the woods.
Yeah,
why are they in the middle of the woods?
But there are people that definitely have a different sense of reality than we do. Not necessarily dangerous, but I mean, we have people come to us and say they can take us to the center of the earth, and there's a portal in Tom's River. So we have to go see them.
Well, they have no other avenue to express their uniqueness other than our magazine. Really.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. You become a magnet.
Yes.
We
are the only people who will listen to them and not treat them like they're crazy.
So these people that are turned away by so many suddenly
find a home.
You're their gods.
We're the place they can tell their story without being judged.
So give me an example of some of the stories.
People ask us, all the time, what's the weirdest thing you've ever seen? And it's really hard. I mean, we can tell you the weirdest thing we've seen this week, which would be the frogs, right? With the frogs, for some reason, the town of Whiting are coming up with these frogs that are all dissected and they're laying all over the streets, and snakes too, right?
Mm-hmm. It's weird is a very broad term for us, so it could be anything from frogs to going to the center of the earth, or it could just be some crazy roadside architecture that was built, 50 years ago, and then the business that built it went out of business. Everybody's kind of forgotten about why it was there and why is it shaped like a rocket ship, and it's still, it just strikes you as odd when you're driving by. It could be something as simple as that.
You've talked about the center of the earth twice now, so I have to follow up. Was there a portal to the center of the earth?
Well, the man's name is Dr. Beard, and he promises to take us to go see the portal in Tom's River. We just haven't gotten around to getting there.
If you've ever seen Dr. Beard, I don't know if you'd accept the invitation either. He's a very unusual man. And he wouldn't even let us into his house, let alone his portal. So it's best left unsaid. You'll have to read the story.
Yeah, so yes, most of the people we encounter are stranger than any haunted house you would see.
You've been doing this for 20 years, you told me?
Pretty much, yeah.
Around that.
What was the first one? Do you remember?
The first issue?
The first weird thing that you encountered?
Oh, it was probably a place in Clifton. It was called Albino Village. It was a local legend. You're supposed to go there late at night with your date, go through an old tunnel, bang on the side of your car, and the albinos would come out and actually kill you and eat you. So that's why you would bring your girlfriend to the dark end of the albino village, and they get scared, and then you make out.
Terrified, and they grab you tightly.
And the two of you went together?
No, this was before we met. And where New Jersey is, it was a place where people shared stories. I mean, Mark was collecting these stories on his own, and then his friends started giving him stories, and then he made this newsletter. And this was before the internet, so the only way to disseminate this information was to Xerox it and pass it around. Right. But everybody you passed it to Xeroxed it and passed it around to their friends. So what happened was that people who were reading it, who Mark didn't know, like myself, said they would have a story. Like they grew up hearing about Midgetville or Demon's Alley or something like that. So they submitted their stories. So all of a sudden, all of this material was coming in, and Mark was like, "I need someone to help me." Sift through all this stuff. We have to go out and see if any of this actually exists. Is it really a devil's tower?
Yeah.
And that was really the premise of the magazine. It was actually us going out once a week and seeing if we could find if these things actually exist. And pretty much almost 90% of this stuff did exist.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They're wrapping us up now, but so if somebody wanted to go to your website or get the magazine, how do they do that?
Well, it's always weirdnj.com, and you can contact us through there. All the information is there.
And the magazine's on just about every newsstand in New Jersey. And the books are in Barnes & Noble's your best bet for the books, but they're out there.
Wonderful. Yeah, I've gone through them before, and I've enjoyed them. So thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. Mark, I appreciate it. Please come back.
We will.
And we'd like to talk to you again. Mark Scuerman and Mark Moran, the editors, the publishers, the everything at Weird New Jersey. Thanks for joining us on Jersey Matters. Stay tuned for another thing.